Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Healing Me First Stories of Breakthroughs, Transformation, and Healing. We have an amazing guest, my friend Desiree Smith Dixon.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey
Desiree,
there.
tell the people a little bit about you, girl. What's up? What's
Oh,
up,
wow.
baby? How are
Hey,
you?
hey. I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing today?
Oh man, I'm doing awesome. The weather's a little crazy in Atlanta
Yeah,
today, but
it is this whole week.
yeah, this whole week,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah, yeah.
but feeling blessed. It's the start of a new year, just
That's right.
new
That's right.
opportunities, right? New things
Yep, yep.
really
New
create
year.
and to work on. So I'm grateful
Yes,
for the opportunity to just do that.
exactly. Me too. Me too. This is an 8 year of abundance. So,
Mm.
all of the work we've been putting in 2023, we will reap the harvest this year. So,
Yes,
being open to receive
absolutely.
it. So, my name is Desiree Dixon Smith, and I am, let me see, I'm a child of God, first and foremost. So, I live in Atlanta. I am separated from long-term marriage. I have three adult children. They are 23, 25, and 27. I have two grandbabies from my oldest son who are cute and cuddly, and they're my playthings. And I'm a realtor in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta area. I've been a realtor for years, a very long time. So I enjoy people um, achieve their real estate goals. And also, I am a Reiki practitioner. I do energy healing. I I do crystal vibrational healings. I host and facilitate new moon meditations. I just completed my annual vision board party. So I'm a big believer in vision boards and just anything about manifestation, creating the life you desire. My belief is that we are here to thrive, not just survive, and we are co-creators of our life.
Mm.
And true enough, we're born into certain circumstances and things happen beyond our control, but we have more control than a lot of us think, to create the lives that we want. So that's my whole come from and what I'm about.
Yes.
And that's what I'm working on.
Where are you from? What city are you
I'm
from?
originally from Long Island, New York, a small town called Wyandanch. Yes, yes, New
Iron
York.
Blanche. Ooh, it's far. It's far
It
from the
is. It is. I'm not from New York City, not Brooklyn, or none of the five boroughs. I'm a Long Island baby. It's a difference.
Yeah,
So
we look, and we not gonna hold none of that stuff against you, boo.
I'm proud of it. Shoot. But I've been in Atlanta most of my life. I was a little kiddo when my parents moved down here, but I was always in New York. I was that child who the last day of school, my mom sent me back to my grandparents' house, and I was there until like right before the first day of school
Yeah,
down in here in Georgia. Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the breaks. I was in New York
yeah, I love it.
pretty much until I like got married and started having children.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, I know that's you're in a transitionary period right now.
I
Um,
am.
in regards to your husband, and do you want to talk a little bit about just some of the things that you're learning about yourself and just that whole process of, being married and now separated, and then, who knows what comes after, right?
Yeah, yeah. Wow, okay, there's so much to that, but in with trying to keep it brief, so we were in our early 20s when we got married back in 1995. And so yeah, this year would make like 29 years. But so we basically grew into adulthood together, had three children, really great marriage for the most part. But what I realized is, hindsight being 2020, we didn't really know each other. We didn't not each other. We didn't know ourselves.
Mm,
And when you don't fully know yourself, meaning your issues from childhood that you bring into relationships and how that shows up, uh, what you really desire and like versus what your parents or society or your teachers told you you should do, things like that. So I would say those coming into knowing who we truly are is a pivotal, I guess, discovery. And in our relationship, the person I thought I married wasn't who he actually was. And I guess I don't know if he would say that about me, but really it's because he didn't truly know who he was
yeah,
at the time. So we went through a lot of really tough times and challenges, but stuck through it and was actually able to maintain a good friendship throughout our challenges, but really it was the children that kept us together, and our family structures. We both come from really strong, strong family and communities, people who stay together, people who stick together, people who supported us. And so now that I've actually been separated for several years and we are going through finalizing our divorce, it's just been a process,
yeah,
to just paperwork. Like, who wants to do paperwork? And we're not like at odds to where, like that, but we just need to go ahead and finish it. So that's kind of where we are, being that because I chose to be a stay-at-home mom. It's something we talked about and decided to do even before we had children. So, and that's a whole other thing, being a stay-at-home mom. So I did that for years and had my real estate license even before we got married. But using my license, I was able to do some real estate transactions here and there, but it wasn't until they really got older and into college and through college. And now I'm really focused now on me and figuring out and learning myself and who I am and all of those things.
yeah.
So I'm not sure if I answered your question.
Well, you did, and I have follow-up questions. So
Okay.
I'll get
Okay.
into the things that you're learning about yourself now. But I'm wondering because it's like it's just been a few years, several years, like you said, since you've been separated and now sort of inking the divorce papers. I'm wondering
Hmm.
like why now? What do you feel like this season is telling you that you need to do now in order to move forward in that regard?
Hmm. Closure. And there's my aha phrase for 2023 is the one that I've been waiting for is me.
Mhm.
And I really, really, really got that, like in my soul, got that, because even during this separation, there were times, even though I was the one who moved, there was a lot of sadness and grief and regret and if only, all of those things because I wanted my family to stay together. So it was really, really tough. And I was looking at all of the external things and that was making me, not feel complete and whole. But when I began to really turn the focus on myself and look at where is this coming from? What is the root cause of this feeling you're having? And begin to really dig at all of the deep stuff and begin to unravel it and release it. Um, I realized, like I said, that it's all about me. I'm my own savior, and I began to be that and step into that role. And part of that was this relationship is over, and it needs to be over. Like, I'm no longer wanting to be in this state of limbo with
Mm,
this situation.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like a learning that you feel like you have had just in terms of more clarity about where you stand in situations? Would you say that's sort of a thing that you're learning about yourself?
Definitely more clarity about myself because I can't say that I can be clear about where another person is. All I can do is receive or hear what another person tells me about them. But my focus, honestly, is on me because when something comes up, a person, a situation, or whatever, I'm checking in with myself. That's where my clarification comes from. It's not coming from what you're saying, what they're doing. I'm checking in with me and my connection to source, to God. That's my clarification.
Oh, I love that. I love that
Yeah.
tremendously. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what kinds of things have you feel like you've been learning about yourself now that, really you can focus in on you? Children are out the house, relationship is over. What are some of the things that you are really deeply understanding about Desiree?
Um, that I didn't want to grow up, you know, and that it's time for me to grow up. And and I've been wrestling with that one for a few years, since again my separation. But for me, I grew up, I'm an only child. I'm the first grandchild. So I've been spoiled. I've been given things most of my life. And even in my relationship, my marriage, my husband was very giving to me, you know. He spoiled me. So when you come from that, it's like that's what you expect. And I'm a Leo, you know. So an only child Leo, and I'm a native New Yorker. So yeah, so just really realizing that when the world doesn't work the way you want it to, don't be a baby about it.
Mm,
What are you going to do about what am I going to do about it to make it look like what I want it to look like? So I guess one of the biggest things about me is just learning to and realizing to grow up and to be accountable, self take responsibility for myself. Um, you know, and also just realizing that because when you're a stay-at-home mom, you you can't help but to just give yourself away,
yeah.
to your family. So I gave myself away for so many years. And then my grandfather, I was really close with my grandfather who moved down to Georgia after my grandmother passed away. He sold his house in New York and moved down here. So I was his primary caretaker until he died. Then my mom got sick. I'm the only child, so I was her primary caretaker until she died. And now, my children are through college and out, and those loved ones I had are gone. So I'm just really seeing um and able to just focus on me, you
Yeah.
know. And it's just a wonderful thing because I really enjoy my company. I guess that's one thing I've also realized about myself. I enjoy my company. I like to listen to music in my house and dance, put on some incense, and I'm good.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I always say that like there's these sort of two kinds of people, two kinds of women. There are women who get married, or really more, but when you have women who are married early in life and then the relationship sort of dissolves over time, there's this new discovery, this opportunity to just really discover these amazing things about yourself because you've literally been focused in on family for so
Right,
long,
right, right,
right?
right.
And then on the flip side of that, if you have a woman such as myself who had the opportunity to go to school, so I was in academia for many years, and I started having children later in life. I was 35, then 42. So I was very clear on things that I wanted and didn't want, but then even beyond that, just being in the role of mother, wife, caretaker, there's just this other level of knowing that is sort of revealing itself now that I'm, older. Are you seeing those kinds of things too? I don't know how old you are, but like I'm 50, so I'm just like learning all these new things about myself that I didn't even think about when I was in my 20s and 30s. Are you
Mm.
are you experiencing any of that?
Um, I'm 55. I feel like I did discover a lot of my strengths and things about myself earlier because, as you know, when you become a mom and even just being married, you have to dig deep, to deal with all of the things, the lack of sleep or just being helping with homework, balancing, children and relationships and trying to keep your husband happy and trying to keep your children in order and trying to keep yourself just standing,
Right.
and so you have to pull from a lot of resources, especially if you want to do it right, and you really care. So I feel like early in my life, I discovered a lot of tools, I guess you could say. Um, but then through this process, I thought that I would be able to have this separation, this divorce, ending this marriage, and just kind of move on. But it didn't happen that way. It
Mm,
took me a long time to move on. So I had to like, first of all, acknowledge that and be like, what the fuck? Like, I've been meditating for 20, 30 years. I've been, doing all the things into African spirituality and yoga and just all of the things that, to help keep you balanced and focused and happy, but it just wasn't working the way I wanted it or thought it should. So I had to really, really go deeper and just learn more. So I guess as far as tools or things I've learned, what I learned is as you go through challenges and situations, you just have to dig deeper. At least that was my experience,
yeah,
and go back into my toolbox of all the things. And because it took a lot of different tools and techniques for me to get clarity and heal. And I'm still healing, but I'm definitely on the other side of the healing from where I was, even just last year.
yeah. So I'm wondering, because you talked about not wanting to grow up. As you dug deeper, did you find any other things beyond what you stated earlier about not wanting to grow up on why you didn't want to move forward and sort of really just end the relationship? Like, what kinds of things have you been excavating?
You mean pertaining to my relationship? Why?
Your relationship, you in the relationship, because you said you had to go deeper. So I'm wondering what were some of the discoveries from going deeper?
Um, well, okay. Well, I guess to put it in context, our relationship ended because we came to not necessarily a crossroads, but basically my husband is decided he's polyamory. He
Mm,
does not want to be will no longer be monogamous. I desire monogamy.
Got it. Okay.
So there was no growth. We've been through like, we went to like 4 or 5 different counselors over the years, all the things. And so there was just no, either he was going to have to be unhappy by being monogamous, or I would have to be unhappy by not being monogamous.
Got
And
it.
neither one of us were willing to, you know, give that up, right? So it had to end as far as, our we were concerned with that. But the things I discovered about myself, because I grew up very close to my grandparents who were married until their death. Most of my family members, I have a big family. My mom is one of 7 children, and all of my uncles and aunts have been married forever. You know, Kelvin's family is the same. My husband's family, all of his family members have been married forever. So in my mind, that's what you do.
Mm,
So, and then like I spent a lot of time with my grandparents as a child and at my cousins. My cousins being at grandma and grandpa's house was like, that was like the center of the universe. So when I started having grandchildren and we're separated, the concept that me and my husband, the father of my children, are not together, whose house will my grandchildren come over, because we have separate households now. To me, that was not right. It was like incorrect. It's not how it's supposed to go.
right.
But it sounds so simple, but it really took me a long time to realize that's just what I saw growing up. And what I saw growing up is what I thought how it should be.
Right.
And that's most of us. Whatever we see growing, that's where beliefs come from. That's where belief systems come from. And we think it's truth, but it's not. It's just something that we've believed over and over and over again. So we think it's true. So I had to just unpack that, because I had to even keep asking myself, why am I still upset over this? Why am I still upset over this separation? And it's because, you know, I wanted me and him to take our grandkids to Disney World together, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's how it's supposed to be. And it sounds so simple and easy to just be like, no, it's okay if it's not. But that was very hard for me to unravel, because it's intertwined in my DNA, in my, brain.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So just all the things that you see growing up, or that you were told, or that you think the way it's supposed to be, you have to like really be willing to look at all that stuff and it all be wrong, or
And
it
you know
doesn't
what?
matter
I
whether
would
it's
say, I would say it's not wrong. It's your truth. It's your truth because that's what you experienced. It's almost like you need to be able to let it be something else than what your belief system is telling you it needs to be or it has to be, and release that it has to be this one way.
exactly right, right. So that's what I mean when I say wrong. So yeah, it's not wrong. It's just the idea that it has to be and look like that is what's wrong. That's what I'm saying. It can look like whatever. Because when I get into a new relationship and have a new man in my life, my grandchildren will grow up knowing, whoever that person is, and the same, for my ex. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. That's really how probably most families are, you
Yeah.
know? So that's just one example, but just that whole thing of looking at the things in from my childhood, or just from my upbringing, and just looking at them and unpacking them. Where did this thought come from? Where did that belief come from? Because whenever you have something that is you're struggling with in your adult life, or something you can't push past or can't move beyond, that's when it's time to look at what is the root of this thing.
Yeah.
What's holding me back.
Yeah, and I love that you say that because it really transcends into businesses to the way we
Oh,
show up in our
definitely.
business life.
Definitely.
So I think just doing the work personally is critical because even the way you view beliefs, in terms of, how much money you can make, or different contracts you go after is all kind of rooted in certain kinds of beliefs on how
Mhm.
you think businesses should run, or should you be going after the contract, or should things be just falling in your lap.
Right.
So all of these things are intertwined, and
Mhm.
that's why it's so important that we as Black women entrepreneurs, we're always doing the interrogation work of unpacking our mindset and just
Yeah,
how we're showing up for ourselves, because it really just impacts how we show up in our businesses too.
it does. It really does. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
have
we might think it's unrelated, but it is. Yeah.
so for you, like just in terms of your work now as a realtor full time, now that you're able to really do more, what kinds of discoveries have you seen about yourself? I mean, you mom, full-time wife for many years. And now, you're just like doing your thing, top producing real estate agent in Atlanta. What sorts of things did you learn about yourself that really helped you to kind of move forward with really pursuing the real estate like in an aggressive way, an exciting way?
Um, hard work, hard work, is important. It's crucial. And because I've done this real estate thing for a long time and I've done it half-ass before. So I know what half-ass results look like, you know? And when I decided to make a choice to really go for it and work harder, especially since my separation, because I had to make it, it's sink or swim. And we're not sinking, I'm not sinking. That's not even an option. So in my brain, again, talking about the skills and techniques that you learn from motherhood, I took a lot of that and put it into my ability to push through with my business and do a lot of the things I didn't like doing, like cold calling or just the marketing stuff. There's a lot to being an entrepreneur, right? You have your skill that you do, like yours is cooking and preparing meals. Mine is connecting with people and showing them properties and connecting houses with families, like a matchmaker. But behind all that is so much more. You have your marketing. For us as realtors, there's tons of paperwork because it's a legal transaction. So
Right.
contracts, and those contracts have to be properly written. A lot of people are putting earnest money down. I'm responsible for tons of money, other people's money. So I have to make sure I'm doing things right. Um, Getting new clients, like people, there are, I don't know how many realtors in Atlanta, but hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And so, how am I going to stand out? How are people going to call me? So that's work in and of itself, and a lot of that stuff is tedious. Even if you know you're good, you know you're great, other people don't know that. And then also learning failures and mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes, and I just took all of the mistakes that I've learned and just added them to my set of tools that I use to create the best customer experience that I can. So just hard work, really. That's what I've discovered, that I can do it because I've did this in my child rearing, or bearing, and got my children through college, which is all of them, which I think is a feat. So if I can do that and they're all good and they're mentally stable and doing well, then I can do this work as a realtor or whatever business it is. So um, It's really not that complicated to me as far as what I learned. It's just putting in the work.
Yeah, I love that. And I know that you really work to infuse a lot of the things you talked about earlier, the energy work, the manifestation work, the new moon work. Why is that so important to you to bring that into? Because like people would look at it from face value and be like, those are two complete what? Like she's a realtor, but then she's like doing meditations, and why do you even do any of those things?
Yeah, well, again, because I believe that there's so much more to this life that what we see. You know, we see our bodies and our senses that we have, we we can see and smell and taste and touch and feel and all that, right? But there's so much more that's going on that we can't see. We have energetically our energy body, and everything is energy. So just like how you can, a person can walk into a room and you can kind of sense if they're in a good mood or if they're in a bad mood. You know what I mean? That's energy.
Yeah.
That's energy. So if anything you're doing, whether it's a business or whether it's raising your children or going into a relationship, if you don't have, if you have a negative vibration or a negative attitude, or if you're pessimistic, if you're believing something's not going to work, or you're remembering how you messed up last time, so this isn't going to work again, or if you are like, I know this is going to be great, it's going to work out for me, whatever you believe, that's what's going to happen. So I take that into my business with my beliefs. And because real estate is such a, it can be a really challenging process. It's not always like on HGTV, like people go and find the house that they love and they're under contract and then they're moving in and there are 20 contractors there helping them create this dream home. It's very stressful. Mortgage lenders, if you're getting a loan, oh my gosh, they want to know everything from your third grade report card to, your divorce decree, even if you got married or divorced 25 years ago. And, they want some of your blood, sweat, and tears. And it's very, very stressful. So I like people to be comfortable. I like people to feel good. I want people to just be okay. So that's why I use like a vision board that I create for my buyers. I get all of their wish list items and create this vision board, and I tell them focus on this. Download it on your screen or print it out, whatever. When things get rocky, which they will, focus on your end goal. Um, and I guess, like the meditation stuff and the new moons, I though that's just what helps me, and again, especially since my separation, I started doing meditations. My husband and I started doing them a little bit. We've always meditated together. We started doing some at home in our living room, but when I moved, I really started doing more consistently. And it just grew. I would invite friends over, and it just grew. And I used to do them in a yoga studio before the pandemic, and then during the pandemic I shifted to doing them on Zoom. But all I'm doing is what helps me and my family and the people around me, and I just put it out there to the world. And I know it doesn't necessarily mix. And I struggle with that, honestly. And I don't as much as I used to with it looking crazy. It's just me. It's just who I am. And that's all I can be. I'm okay with that. I used to even go through the things of, this is Atlanta. So you know how. Ooh, especially in real estate, I don't have a weave down my back, and I'm not gonna wear red bottoms or a Chanel bag. That's just not me. I spend my money on crystals, and I have locks. This is all my hair. You know, so I know I don't look or act like all of that, and I know a lot of us want that and believe that's what success looks like. To me, success looks like peace in your heart, um, being grateful and, and happy. And that's where I am. And if other people look at me and feel like I'm not a fit for them, or why is she doing this? I mean, I have people in my family who they don't get with what I do. I'm always telling people about, hey, there's this meditation, or I'm inviting people to different events, and I get crickets all the time, from my family members. Except I have a few, who are into the same thing, but mostly not, and it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's hard for us as entrepreneurs, particularly if we're doing some things that feel a little more spiritual, not religious,
Right,
and the way we eat, those things, and our families aren't necessarily supporting us, like, with the banners and, the bullhorns. We just got to keep going anyway because there are people out there that really vibing and resonate with what we're doing. And to
exactly.
be quite frankly, I think, Desiree, that it absolutely connects because when I think about the name of the business, it's desired results. And so in order for you to have your desired results, you need to dream up those things that you want and
Right,
really put in the work to actually create it and get it. And
right.
so these are the tools that you're sharing with others in order to create those things that they want. So it's absolutely connected. I love seeing the connection of the two, and I've never seen a realtor just really be as explicit as you with putting these things together with what they do. But it's beautiful. Actually, if you go on Desiree's Instagram, you see all these beautiful homes, and it's like I could see myself in there. I want to be
Yeah,
in a big old house, so it's absolutely incredible what you're creating for yourself, and I'm really, really proud of you, you know?
thank you. Thank you. It's exciting, it's exciting to know and feel that it's all possible. Whatever it is you want.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
that's exciting. And then even like just surviving, and having a amazing life after a long marriage, that's available to you as well, right?
Yeah,
So all of it is. Some people they stop. They don't even want to date after they're married, particularly if it's a long, long, long marriage. They
exactly.
they usually they lose their mojo. So
Right,
just
right.
having the courage to get back out there and
Mhm.
be someone that's just for you, who wants what you want.
Exactly. So I would just encourage people, no matter what, just keep going, do whatever you need to do to get your mojo back, as you said. We've seen people get married in their 70s and
Yes,
80s even, you
yes.
know? So to me, it's never too late.
Yeah, I think peace, it could be one moment of peace. It could be 10 years of peace. So
Yeah.
if you can find someone that's going to help to give you peace and you marry them and you have 2 years with them, 5 years with them, a day with them,
Yeah.
that's really, that's freedom, right? One
Indeed.
aspect of freedom, I think.
Indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, wow. Super nice, super nice. So what's next? What's next for you? What are you working on now?
Whew. Well, I'm continuously working on my business, and I'm also working on being more intentional with putting out some of my metaphysical work that I do. I do Reiki and things like past life regression sessions, cutting cord sessions. Like I literally went to school for a couple of years for all these things, really just for myself, but also, people who know me, they've come to me and I do sessions here in my home, but it's something that is, I just want to put out there more. So I'm working actually on a website. I have a couple of crystal products that I make. I'm going to start doing a little more jewelry. I have some crystal jewelry that I sell here and there. And everything is intentional, like the jewelry and the crystals that I make are all about healing because crystals have different properties and different energies that they work with. So, like I have this anklet that, for example, that has crystals that are for grounding, like black tourmaline and hematite and shungite, and they are for helping you get grounded and clearing negative energy. And so I have an anklet that you would put on your ankle, which is, by your feet, grounding. So I create these different things and I wear a lot of different crystal jewelry that I make. So anyway, just putting more products out there. Again, everything I do is intentional. Um, as you may know, I am focused on building a home in Belize. So I'm excited about that. That's in progress. That will be my place where I spend my latter years until my death. That is the goal. Um, so just working on that and just being the best version of me that I can, and in order for me to bring a higher level of service to others in my businesses, and that's busy work. That keeps me busy full time,
Oh, yeah.
honestly. And when I'm not doing all that, just being still or having fun. I like to spend time with my family and friends, going out to concerts and shows, going dancing, taking trips, just living life.
Yeah,
I feel blessed. I'm grateful. I'm healthy. I'm strong, and I'm so 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 blessed. I don't take that for granted. So, I'm just living life. Honestly, that's what's up for me. Living life.
I love that. So tell people how they can connect with you on your platforms. So if they're interested in, purchasing a home or just anything, how can people reach you?
Okay, so my company's name is Desired Results. That's my real estate name. I'm under a brokerage, which is HomeSmart. Some people may not have heard of HomeSmart. They're kind of new in the Atlanta area. They actually bought out the previous company that I was with. But anyway, so my business name is Desired Results under HomeSmart. So my website is mydesiredresults.com. That's mydesiredresults.com. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Desiree Dixon Smith.
Awesome.
That's how you can find me.
Yeah, and
So feel
we'll put
free
it in
to,
the show notes. Yeah, we'll put all that down in the show notes.
okay, yep, yep. And feel free to join me for a meditation or just definitely if you know anyone looking to buy or sell a home in Metro Atlanta, I'm your girl. I'm your
It is. So you want to leave with any last comments for the people, any last thoughts for the folks who are listening and watching?
Yeah, I would just say to anyone out there to just trust yourself. Trust yourself because it's easy to put your trust into other people, and that can set us up for disappointment. But we are connected with the Most High, with God, and when we trust ourselves, that's trusting God. So trust yourself, believe in yourself, and if you're having a hard time, being optimistic or moving forward, then reach out to someone who can help you, or listen to something positive, even if it's YouTube or a podcast like this. But do something. We have to do some sort of movement to get us to a place where we feel good about ourselves and our lives, and we do have the ability. I think no matter what your situation, there's always something you can feel positive about. So yeah.
Yep, that's it. I love that. We'll leave it right there. So y'all, thank you. Thank you so much, Desiree, for coming and talking to us. I really appreciate it. So for you all who are looking and listening, you guys can connect with me, Chef B, at our website, www.chefb.com. And that's Chef B with three E's, be empowered, energized, and engaged. If you need support with health coaching or business coaching, or even your essential meals to go, our plant-based meals, you can always check us out and see all of those offerings on our website. All right. So until we see you guys again, thank you so much again, Desiree. And you guys have an amazing, amazing Wednesday. All right, take care. Talk
Thank
to you
thank
soon.
you for having me. Bye bye.